Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of So Fired. I'm Chelsea Toronto.
I'm Dr. Lindsay Regier.
And welcome. Each week on So Fired, we take life's shitty things and turn them into pretty things.
And we share all of our issues because we always have at least one. And this week, we are talking about left or right. You're effed either way.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a So Fired?
I sure do. So I'm taking new medication.
Woo!
It makes me smilier. It makes me happier. I'm waking up with a sunny disposition. I actually caught myself the other day excited about something. And I was like, wait, what? I couldn't actually think of anything. I was just like excited for something.
Yeah. Excited to get out of bed.
No, I was like walking. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I was like, for what? There's nothing on the right. Anyway, and then let's see what else. And it's curbing my sugar cravings. So it's pretty perfect.
I love it.
Yeah. The only problem is I can't get enlightened on it.
Ooh.
So I can't get high at all. It's not that I can't. It's not that it's on the bottle. It says do not get enlightened, but rather it's an adverse reaction. Too much is going on, and then I have like negative thoughts and they're racing, and it's a little bit of dread. So I am raw dogging life right now.
Oh my gosh.
I'm having to relearn how to hike, how to do yoga, how to come up with content. So
I feel like you've been so fired part is that you actually can fully function and come up with content without the enlightenment.
Indeed.
Because I feel like you actually have way more energy to come up with the content. You don't even need the extra help. And also, with an appetite suppressant, this is a fun fact. Since you're not thinking so much about what you're eating or what you're going to eat, and food is not consuming all your thoughts, it actually frees up more creativity and brain power to get more work done.
So fired, baby. Yes, I'm certainly seeing a difference in my output as it relates to this. It's just you said that I could always, I wasn't, what did you say? What was the language you used? Fully functioning? No.
When did I say this?
In the very beginning, just a moment ago.
Oh, yeah, fully functioning.
Yeah, I mean, I always was. It was just for well, who knows? But I thought it was more fun to hike and do yoga with it. And it's less fun. I was like, this is hard.
Welcome.
Yeah, I miss it. Anyway, what's your So Fired of the week?
Speaking of yoga and locker rooms, I really don't like being naked. Like life in general, I don't like being naked. I feel uncomfortable. I was at Core Power the other day taking a shower, and I hate being naked in a locker room. I'm just like, ugh. And there's like two older ladies than me. They're just walking around naked without a care in the world. And I'm like, why do I care so much? And like, obviously my body is better than yours, but I'm like, you have like no shame in your game. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to like walk around naked.
How was it?
It was very liberating.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't see that coming, by the way.
Oh, yeah. We're just chatting about the class. And like, have you been to the studio? What
you
about
guys
this
were
teacher?
standing there talking naked? No, sir.
Yes.
Stop. Would you have been able to do it if I had been there?
I don't know. Probably not.
But I would have left just so you could have.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Because you are so modest. You'll like.
I'm like, please don't look at me.
Of your towel.
Yeah. I'm like, I just like don't like being naked in public.
Wow.
Oh, even at home, I don't really like being naked.
Oh, I don't really either.
No.
I don't love it.
So I was like, you know what? These ladies are very liberating. Maybe I should just.
How long were you naked in the locker room?
Maybe like 4 to 5 minutes.
That's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I was like kind of like trying to get dressed a little bit.
Did you just drop the towel and be like, you know what? Fuck it. And then turn around and be like, yeah, I agree.
Yep.
And then you.
Yeah. And actually, like this lady that started talking to me at first, I kind of mean mugged her because she was taking the shower that I wanted. I was like, I'm taking that one. I'm like, and then she was so friendly afterwards, just walking around naked. I was like, well, if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing.
Wow. Congrats.
I know. I don't know if it's going to be a forever thing, but it felt good in the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am blown away because you really are very
modest.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's fantastic.
Thanks.
I'm surprised. Yeah. Wow. That really caught me off guard.
I know.
I can't believe you held it in that long. You didn't tell me all this time. Because that was Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Fun.
Yep.
All right. Do you have an issue for the week?
I do have an issue. Okay.
Dear Chelsea, as you whip out your phone and look
I
at your
know.
notes.
Okay. Here's the issue. Cookie butter hair, strawberry makeup, latte makeup, tomato makeup, Scandy girl hair, jellyfish cut, glazed donut. These are just nonsense words,
Yes.
food that we just have to describe makeup looks and hair looks with when really it's like a latte look is bronze. You have bronzer on. Strawberry, you put some more like reddish blush on, red lips. And like the Scandy girl hair, have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
It's where you have very bleached roots right here. Like you
Oh.
live in Scandinavia and the rest of your hair is like also bleach blonde. Like, there's all these terms. My issue is that, like, where do we come up with these terms? I don't understand why we can't just say, this is bronze makeup. This is a red lip with a pink cheek. This is a freckly look with a pink cheek. Yeah. There's so many trends to keep up with, and it changes every single week. And as someone who is into all the beauty and the makeup and the trends, it's really hard to keep up.
Your eyeballs said it all right
Yeah.
there. You poor thing.
And I want to do the strawberry makeup look. So I go on roadskincare.com today to try to get the new strawberry lip peptide treatment from Hailey Bieber.
Uh-huh.
It's waitlisted, so I just went with a plain one.
I don't know what you're saying.
Haven't you seen all the things about her glazed donut
Oh,
strawberry
yeah,
lips?
but I'm excited to hear you tell me about it. Tell me real quick.
Okay, so she just launched a new lip peptide, strawberry flavored. Hence why she's been doing the strawberry makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Her low-key marketing is genius. Why she did the event in Times Square at Krispy Kreme
Yes,
with the strawberry glazed donuts. Now she has a strawberry lip peptide. Sold out everywhere.
of course.
Mm-hmm.
Her nail color and she copied my nail color.
I thought you were saying that she also has claws like you. Her nails are very long.
Okay, well, nope. I just
Oh.
meant the color.
Oh, okay.
And my nails only get long when it's like. Anyway,
Yeah.
they're not.
So that's my issue. It's so hard to keep up with all the words and all the trends. I'm just
So what are you gonna do about it?
keep on breaking my promise to myself of staying off of TikTok and get back on TikTok so I can keep up with all the trends. So it's like such an issue. I can't get off of TikTok. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They're looping me in.
TikTok really provides a service
Mm-hmm.
in so many ways.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have an
yeah.
issue.
What is it?
Ayn Rand, my
Mhm.
favorite author. So she wrote The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. So she died in the 80s, but she was Russian born and moved here when she was, I don't know, 12. I may be wrong. She was born Alice O'Connor, so she's from the former Soviet Union. Anyways, she's known for objectivism, which is, she believes you find your own purpose and living to your fullest potential and being happy is really what it's all about.
I like that.
Yeah, you can get behind that.
Mhm.
So that's really your highest point. Like that is your point in life, is to see what makes you happy and then do it. And then don't get in the way of making anyone else happy. Right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's sweet. Right. And then some of her political beliefs is like the welfare state and how she does the notion of like, we should be performing to our highest level and hold the integrity and continue to do that. So productive people, and then the political I don't want to say undercurrent, but like the narrative is productive people who are producers are then the government is like trying to tap into them and saying, well, you should offset the unproductive producers, like those, like a welfare state, right? Okay, I'm not talking like, oh, so those that are creating should then therefore, you've made all of this wealth, whether it's through architecture or whatever, or like the railroad. Those were the two books in which they talk about. And then, so therefore you should like carry those who have not been able to create as much wealth, quote unquote.
Sure. So you're paying for them, or you're
so what I'm
them.
saying is it's really hard to split the bill when you don't drink.
Yeah. It is. Those bills get expensive.
Yeah, when the bill comes and says, hey, let's split it 50-50. And you're like, yeah, totally. Because you don't want to be that person.
Yeah, I know. Because it's like, well, actually, I just had a salad and a sparkling water.
Yeah, or you had your 2 NA cocktails,
Yeah.
which are the same, but it's
Mhm.
like so I think you just you first of all have to, like, summon the courage and be like, "Yo, let's just get separates."
Yes.
'Cause I don't wanna be the ultimate cringe are those old ladies who whip out their calculators into the penny, and you're like,
Oh my god, and you're passing the bill around, be like, "Well, I had this, and then you had this," and then you hand it back to your waiter, be like, "Okay, so this is how we're gonna split it up." I mean, as a waiter, I know that sucks.
it's
And
not the end of the world if you just give them a head it's not the end of the world. It's hard when it's, like, 10 people.
yeah, exactly.
You got 2 people, what,
I
5
think
drinks and 2 meals? Fine.
here's a question for you.
Yeah.
When you're out to dinner, what is the number of group of people where you will just split it? Is it like 3 people? Like, if you're out to dinner with 4 people, 5 people, 6 people, are you still trying to divvy it up individually? Or at that point, do you just split it amongst everyone equally?
See, that's where it gets really hard. Remember we were
Mhm.
hanging with that big group all the
Yeah.
time,
Mhm.
and then they all wanted to be like, "Okay, couples,"
Right.
and then I was not a couple,
Mhm.
and then they wanted to text me. I almost felt like a financial burden because I wasn't so, like, all I had was, like, an entree, right?
Right.
So it was 15, whereas everyone's got like, getting rounds of drinks. So
Yeah.
it was almost more challenging to have me in the mix
Mm,
despite being
sure.
cheaper because I,
Yeah.
like, didn't know where to lump me in,
Right.
and they weren't gonna ask me to pay the same amount that all the couples were.
Right.
So I was kind of the outlier, if you
Mhm.
will. So I don't know. Like, are you asking me in my opinion?
Yeah.
I don't I don't know, and that kinda goes back to Ayn Rand, like, d am I just, like do I just
Just suck it up and
yeah,
pay.
right.
It's hard because if you are going out like that a lot, it's kind of frustrating because you're not intending on spending $100 on a meal.
It's expensive.
Mhm.
It is expensive. I don't know, it is so, yeah, and I've asked around, I've asked a number of people, and they're like, "Hell no," and then I learned this expression, ATIA,
ATIA?
"Am I the asshole?"
Oh.
And I was like,
Oh, yeah, Reddit.
I will
I'm
be using that
I'm familiar.
frequently. Yay! And I was like, "Oh," but I did ask a number of people, and they said, hands down, absolutely not, that it's okay to pay your portion.
I think so. I think you just tell the server right away, "Hey, this is gonna be separate. I'm by myself."
Yeah, separates.
Yeah. Mhm.
So just get into the habit of it,
Yeah.
but it feels kinda cringe.
It does feel kinda cringe, but your future self will thank you.
Yeah.
And it's better to do it at the beginning rather than at the end, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when it's
So
cringe.
now, I mean,
Oof.
it's like you just going forward, how much did it hurt? How much did the one bill that made you sit up and take notice
Yeah.
hurt? And be like, "Okay, that's what I'm gonna do going forward. I'll never make that mistake again."
So that goes into our topic.
What is our topic?
Left or right?
To
We're
the left or the right, we're gonna get effed either way.
yep. Effed up the middle either way.
So how does that relate to today's topic?
You tell me.
Well, so Anne Rand and her objectivism and her notion on, like, producers, productive people are the unproductive brothers keepers, or are we enslaved? I guess this is what I was trying to say, and I didn't say it very, very well, is like those that produce are enslaved to the benefit of those who don't.
Mm, okay.
Okay, so all those things started to get me. And then it started to feel a little like political.
Yeah.
And then I like stumbled on this thing that I was like, oh, this is interesting, blah, blah, blah. And I was reading, and it wasn't until I finished reading did I realize what I was reading. And then I was like, oh, it's like, I know you may not, I don't want to rule it out 100%, but the likelihood of you having this experience is when I discovered my father's Playboys in the bathroom.
Yeah, no, I have not had that
Okay, I didn't think
experience.
so, but I didn't want to rule it out. But when I found them, and it's like, you're like, you can't stop looking, but you know you shouldn't, and you're like paralyzed with fear, and you're like, so that's what happened when I read the following things. It was this mission statement written by this group.
Mhm.
And okay, so they have like 10, and I'll read it real fast. I won't make it a big deal, but like their take was like abolish prison and like legalize drugs and end welfare and outlaw censorship and
More housewives.
yeah, venerate the
Yeah.
housewives
Oh,
and
glorify the entrepreneur.
uh-huh,
Free speech.
free
We love
speech.
guns. Everyone should have one.
At least have availability to them.
Yeah.
And then so
And no
minimize
government.
minimize government.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I kind of like you're kind of getting it because you know what? The government is taking quite a few taxes these days.
It is.
They're overreaching a little bit.
Taking extra liberties.
And I would like to minimize censorship because I don't know what's real anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, prisons, we could like modify that because that's all big business. See, like how this is all going.
Yeah.
That is until I realized what I was reading.
What were you reading?
I was reading the Proud Boys fucking manual. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Holy shit. And then it was like, if I could have dropped the phone, I would have because I was like, oh my God, don't touch it. And then, which is very timely because, the current leader, what's his name? Enrique Tarrio.
Oh, I have no clue.
Was
I thought the Proud Boys was a podcast and a new show. So I have no idea.
You didn't?
Enrique Iglesias?
Yeah, no, it's actually funny enough. His name is, how do you spell Tarrio? Tarrio. He's the current leader of the Proud Boys. So I didn't really do a huge dive. They're largely responsible for the storm January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
So they were all actually supposed to be sentenced. Enrique was supposed to be sentenced yesterday.
Okay.
Timely enough. But the judge called in sick.
Oh.
I was like, I don't believe that as far as I could throw it.
Yeah, a little suspicious.
They are on the dole. No pun intended. Not Bob Dole. Anyway, so when I told you about this, you then said,
first I was like, totally wrong about who the Proud Boys were.
What do you know? What you have
so
thoughts
then
on them?
So then I read the manual and I was like, well, let me see what you're talking about. And I mean, you must have skimmed like the first page because it said like we're Western chauvinists, and I'm like, well, this doesn't sound great.
It doesn't sound great.
No. And they're like, no, it's not like beating women and like putting them in their place. It's more of like, we love America. I'm like, oh God, okay. But
I didn't say I like them.
No.
I just saw a portion
that was like, okay.
like was
like a portion I was like, okay.
Adjacent to what Ayn Rand was saying, right? Okay, but
I'm
go
like,
on.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, go entrepreneurs. I like that.
No.
As an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
Housewives, they're trying to say like, it's not bad. It's not bad to be a housewife. It's a job to raise a child.
Or that we can't have society without women.
Yeah. But this
the
is
way in which they say it is kind of a little offensive.
This is where it went off the rails. Was that there's a section called no wanks. And like you can't jerk off or like ejaculate within like 1 month by yourself. Like you have to be within like yard of a woman.
Wait, within 1 month or 1 mile?
1 month. Like, and 1 month you can like jerk off like one time. Do you struggle with bloating, anxiety, constipation, fatigue, skin issues, or other nagging symptoms but don't know where to start or what to take to truly fix it? If this sounds like you, we have the perfect company that you need to meet. Gut Personal is a personalized functional medicine supplement and coaching company that gets to the root of your gut issues. Unlike generic supplements, Gut Personal developed a quick 2-minute quiz. We love a quiz, where you'll receive personalized supplement recommendations from expert functional medicine dietitians. This way, you know exactly what supplements your body needs to get relief. I personally use the booster and the prebiotic for better digestion, and I know when I take it consistently, even my skin looks a lot better. So if you're tired with dealing with painful digestive issues or mood swings, PMS, go over to gutpersonal.com, take their quiz, and then you can get your custom supplement regimen today. So visit gutpersonal.com and use code SOFIRED10 to get a 10% discount on your first order.
Okay, say it again.
Okay. So the rule's called no wanks.
Okay.
So if you're going to come or like ejaculate, there has
masturbate.
No.
Just
you have to
just come.
Just come.
Just coming.
You have to be within 1 yard of a woman. And I think you can just masturbate like once a month. Once a month, like a limit to that. No wonder they're going crazy in the head because they have all of these pent up energies and like things to get out, and they can't think straight because their penis is like full of cum and they need to
Young,
get it out.
dumb, and full of cum, huh?
Yeah, dumb and full of cum.
What are your other thoughts on the Proud Boys?
So I was like, huh, that makes sense why they can't think straight.
Yeah.
Legalizing drugs, not all drugs. I mean, weed.
Why not?
Shrooms.
Just legalize them.
Because like in the cities where they're not really cracking down on drug use, there's like a shit ton of drugs and homeless people and
Oh, come on now. Here, are we going to get into the drug talk? Because
okay, but it's
I have been
they're
watching
not like prosecuting them and like they don't have
all the more
these
reason.
presents.
So with the availability, right? Because it's like when I have donuts, if I had an endless supply of donuts, I'm going to eat it and make myself sick. And then hopefully, eventually, I will stop eating them.
That's not how it goes with drugs. You keep going and going and going. You're like, I don't care if I was sick. Like, I
Well,
felt
at least
good
make
at
it
one
free
point.
then.
Wait, the drugs would be free?
Yeah.
No, you're still paying for the drugs.
If they're legalized?
Yeah.
Well, then you're not having. I'm not opposed to having legalized drugs.
I just think
Look at weed. It's
I know
fine.
weed should definitely be legal.
What's the difference if it's legal or not? You're just not going to jail.
No, I think drugs where you will definitely overdose and get like highly addictive should be a little bit more regulated.
Oh, like Oxycontin.
Yeah.
And what?
That's regulated. It's
How
not
is it
illegal
regulated?
because you have to get it from a medical doctor.
Unless you're going to the street.
Of course.
Okay, so there's nothing regulated about it.
I know, it should be.
We watch Painkillers. I am on.
She is addicted to painkiller
talk
shows.
about addicted.
Oh
I
my
am
God.
addicted to watching painkiller documentaries. I am addicted to Crimes of the Century. I'm addicted to painkillers. I can't get enough of this story.
I know.
The offense, the atrocity in
It's
which
wild.
these people, the sackers, were allowed to decimate hundreds of thousands of people.
I mean, it was basically
Legalized.
it was a legal form of heroin.
Good one.
So addictive.
Indeed.
So like that should be regulated.
Legalized.
You know.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
Okay.
We'll move on.
Okay, moving on. Okay, well then I got to the dress code portion of this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was like, how are we not talking about what they're wearing?
Okay, go on.
I would say
so. The Proud Boys do have a section in their manual in which they go into very specifics about the dress code. Okay, take it away, Lindsay.
So I would say the dress code is kind of like Country Boy Crisp meets Skater Boy.
Okay, what does that say specifically?
They're wearing $120 polos, preferably black, and like fitted. Red Wing boots, kind of like that's kind of country.
Yeah,
those boots, button-up shirts. But they're shopping at like J. Crew, like Pendleton. Get a pair of Ray-Bans. Right. So it's kind of like preppy, but then throw in the Vans.
Do you know why?
A little skater.
I have my thoughts on this.
Why?
Because they don't want you to. They want you to blend in with an upper middle society, like white upper middle class society. So you can't. So you just fit in. And you can't be easily identified.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
So they're like amongst us.
Yeah, if they're very well dressed.
And they're amongst us. You don't know. They could be your neighbor.
I know.
Or the guy in the elevator.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
It could definitely be a neighbor. It could be a patient of mine. So I thought those are my thoughts on the Proud Boys.
Okay, well, here is one final. Do you have any additional thoughts on the Proud Boys?
No.
Okay, here's the doozy.
Okay.
I'm so glad you don't know this. Ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, this is going to be the highlight of the day. So the founder, one moment, please. The founder, Gavin McInnes, the actual name of the Proud Boys came from the song Proud of Your Boy from Aladdin.
Oh.
Like the actual Disney
like the
musical.
Disney movie?
Yeah, Aladdin. Wow. That's how the name of this thuggish neo-Nazi group came about.
Wild.
Wild.
What?
What is wrong? You guys are off your rockers.
I know.
You guys make crazy batshit decisions.
I'm just like, how do you get... I know, like, people get fed information in their algorithm that they keep on clicking on, and they keep on getting fed information that makes you think a certain way, but it's like, how do you get on the algorithm in the first place? And then how do you like spiral so far that now you're a proud boy?
Oh, I think that's very easy.
I think when you're isolated and you're only listening to certain people, surrounding yourself with
Oh,
certain
you go
ideas.
Fox News.
Yeah.
Fox News, like, "Hey, come volunteer. We're having a booth.
Oh,
Come meet other people who support."
do you love America?
Facebook.
Come on over. Mhm.
I think it's a lot easier than you think.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think it's as, like, indoctrinated and, like, you're not, like, you know, when you're in terrorist training and you're, like, belly crawling on the with the Uzi on your slung over your shoulder while you're army crawling on the ground. I don't think it's like that. I think you're just, like, casually having fun. Maybe you bump into a brother at J. Crew,
Yeah.
and then, you're like, "Yeah, I too believe in less taxes," right? "Yeah, totally." And, you know, there's nothing wrong with jerking off only once a month.
It teaches discipline. Have you heard of edgy? And it's
Right?
amazing.
Rimming.
Yeah.
And then I think it just goes from there, like, I think yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you're on Facebook a lot,
Yes.
that's where it happens.
Oh, it is indeed,
And
isn't
you know
it?
who lives on Facebook?
Who?
Boomers.
Mm. Well, let me tell you about boomers.
Tell me.
Trying not to be mad at them, but I kinda am. I'm not mad at it's just how so, I guess, we were talking about, like, this Biden-Trump potential, like, runoff again in 2024.
Yeah, because unfortunately, election season has already started and it's going to be a miserable
What's worse?
year.
What's worse? Election season 2024 or Christmas starting before Labor Day?
Oh, election season 2024.
I would say Christmas
Oh,
is worse.
really?
Yeah.
But I love Christmas, so
I love election nonsense.
I cannot stand election nonsense. It's just like it's just a bunch of back and forth.
Yeah.
They lied about this, they lied about that. No, it's actually like this. It's
I just
actually
wanna
like
I
that.
can't wait to see what the theatrics entail this time. Like,
Ugh.
I mean, it plan to be entertained if you can find some entertainment in this nonsense.
Yeah.
These 80-year-old I mean, like, okay, so we were talking about it, and I'm so annoyed that, like, as great as our country is, like, this is as good as we can do. Biden, 79,
Mhm.
Trump, 76, plus, like, those are I mean, not to mention their age, like, okay, obviously they're old, but, like, as human beings, like, that's as good as it gets. Like, there's not one other person. Now, I get the Biden's group won't let anybody else because he's already in power, and they're
Mhm.
like, "We got a good thing going, we can puppet the shit out of this guy. Of course, we're not gonna rock the boat." Trump is a money-making machine.
I know.
His people
His PR team is really earning their keep.
oh, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just it's very discouraging. It's kind of a bummer. And then it's
And
like, gosh, these boomers, like and then I just feel like, when do we get to have like, when is it our turn?
well, apparently we could still have up to 17 more baby boomer presidents, which is wild. That goes until 2088. I'll be 100 years old.
How is that possible?
They would be very old. They'd be like ancient. They'd be like 125 years old.
Because there's no limit. Everyone's talking this week about like, "Oh, Biden appears to be too old. We should put into legislation." Okay, legislation on in which we cap the age. Well, who do you think is gonna elect this bill? The old fuckers in Congress. They're gonna cap their own power?
Right? Oh my
Okay.
god, they like most of them would be gone.
Oh my god. So, like, I was reading that, like, the average senator age is 64, whereas the average US citizen's age, I think you already know
Oh, yeah, it's
this,
38.
is
Mhm.
38. Good guess.
Yeah.
And it's just like, "Oh, representation, my ass." Okay, so I heard this thing the other day, this girl, Sarah Powers, she's a congresswoman, she's the youngest one, and
Oh.
she missed a vote
Oh.
because she was denied access to the floor because they thought she was an intern.
No.
It's kind of reverse
Ay,
ageism,
ay, ay.
don't you think?
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh my gosh.
isn't that
She's like, "I swear this is my badge.
I
I
know.
swear I'm supposed to be here."
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
I know, I would kind of be annoyed.
That's yeah. I wish it was like in the movies, like Elle Woods takes
Congress.
Congress. Yeah.
I would think that that would be an excellent movie, like,
Mhm.
or another, like, Elle Woods reboot,
Uh-huh. I know.
Congress.
Yeah, just we should just replace all the old men with, like, hot ladies.
Yeah, you would it would essentially be the entire Congress.
It would be.
It's so
It's
annoying.
very discouraging.
It's like, well, we're adults and I have thoughts and I would like to make some decisions as it impacts me and my brethren. Like, when do these fuckers take an exit stage left?
Well, the issue is that most young people don't have the connections or the money or the resources or the education of how to break in.
I also think they've been in power for so long, there isn't an inch of wiggle room opportunity to
Mm-mm.
get in there.
Mm-mm.
And they've got so much seniority and so much money. Like, of course they don't want us in there.
No.
They've gotten so greedy. And it's not like I'm hating on boomers, but just like this appears to be the way it is, right? They are just,
This is the way it is, and unfortunately, they're in charge for quite a long time.
why is no one else like,
I mean, I feel like
I'm so
as
mad.
as someone who is younger than the average senator age, I have literally no interest in ever doing any politics because it's a thankless job. I feel like you can't actually get anything done that you set out to do. You can have really good intentions, but to actually get one out of 20 things that you want to accomplish, that could take your like years,
Right. If at all.
if at all.
Right. You
It
could
could
get the
be,
bill and then it
yeah.
could just die on the floor.
Mhm. Like,
You,
you could spend your whole career just trying to pass, like, one big deal. So, like, why would we wanna do that?
I don't think it stops there with like legislation. I feel like boomers, the group, everyone's like, oh, everything's blaming on the boomers. Well, you guys, if you guys are the
Well,
only ones in power, which you're so excited, that seems to, we've agreed that you guys are in power. Okay.
mhm,
Well, you've been driving for, let's say, at least the last 40 years, right?
mhm.
Since the 80s.
Yeah.
On the economy, you've taken it to a place, the economy's changed, our education cuts. Like in terms of classes, like no one knows how to do anything because you took away home economics.
I know. I'm like, "How am I supposed to cook?"
Like, seriously, I
Or, like,
might know how
do
to
bills.
actually, I did tame home ec, I wasn't very good at it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
I wish I could have taken it.
it was fun.
It
It was
sounds like it would have been
it
fun.
was really fun,
Yeah.
and technology, but
Oh.
home ec was way more fun.
Mm.
I wasn't good at it, and, like, my brain as a child, if I wish I who I am now could go back and learn all the
Yeah.
things.
Actually, we did learn to sew a little bit
Mhm.
because one of our
Mending.
one oh, no, we had a sewing machine, and we made a
Oh.
quilt.
Oh.
Yeah. For some reason, our English teacher had us making
'Cause
quilts in
she
our
was
free
an
time.
addict, and she was like, "I'm gonna get us in it because I can't."
I think
When you're an
so.
addict of quilting and sewing and knitting, you will find a way to
Yeah.
like, squeeze that shit
Yeah,
in
I don't know
anywhere.
why we're doing that in English class. That's weird now
It
that I
was
think about it.
probably reading, like, history and Betsy Ross.
Yeah. And spelling and grammar?
I don't wanna be a Debbie Downer, but they also, like, ruined our chances of housing, right? Like, when was it?
Oh, I know. What, like, in the 80s,
19 it
90?
was what,
It's like
80,000?
80,000 to get a house, and now it's like 300,000 to get, like, an entry-level house,
Yeah,
and if you live here in Denver, you're literally getting a one-bedroom, one-bathroom in the burbs
condo, and you might not
condo.
necessarily have a window because 'cause you're
No.
probably in a row home.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
the end with a window would be more expensive.
Yeah, and probably not a desirable neighborhood.
Probably not your first choice.
No.
How about that?
Mhm.
Let's not okay, so college affordability.
Oh, yeah. Ruined. And they're like, "You gotta go to school so you can get a degree, and then you need a degree to get a job, but then you need experience to get a job, but instead we're gonna give you an internship, and then
An
you can get
unpaid
an
internship,
unpaid internship, and then you can get a job."
maybe.
Maybe.
And then when you do get that job, you're gonna get it for a minimum wage, which is still
Oh my god. 7.25?
mhm,
I literally cannot believe that's minimum wage.
mhm.
Who is living off of that?
That's right.
That's wild.
That's exactly right.
A Starbucks drink. That's an hour of work right there.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
what? Ay, ay, ay.
So they're just so out of touch, and then they're like, "Oh, you have the audacity to complain. Look at all the things we've done for you." But it's like feels like Marie Antoinette. They're so far removed from, like, what it's like in real life. First of all, they're old, and then their notion of is to restore America and the policies back to the good old days,
Right.
where, like, us, well, millennials and Zers have no firsthand knowledge of what the good old days were.
Mhm.
So how about we just get some results?
Yeah.
Like tangible today results. And like when I heard that Zers have never known America at its at its best,
Yeah.
kind of broke my heart.
I know.
I was like, "Oh gosh." And then it kind of explained
It
everything.
explains everything. Why don't they don't give a fuck.
Nor should they. I
No.
mean, like, you
Mm-mm.
were born into 9/11 and the first recession of 2001.
Yep.
Then you had the recession of 2008. And then you had what? Sandy Hook, COVID, Black Lives, lack of I mean, it just goes on and on.
Mhm.
And it's like so all the things like suicide rates and gun violence
Yeah.
and disassociation and like a life that is knee deep in like an augmented reality. It all makes sense.
Mhm. I
Like
think that's also why they say millennials just don't even wanna, like, acknowledge what's happening in life. Like, we'll gladly stay home and not even try to go out and live because we're just trying to, like, disassociate from the miserableness.
you know,
I know.
yeah.
I mean, I don't feel that miserable every day, but
I feel a lack of hope. I don't
it's
know.
I don't know. I have hope. I
Well, I
don't have
have hope
hope that
because
the
I take 2 pills every
yeah.
morning.
I don't have any hope that anything in this country is ever gonna change in my
Exactly.
lifetime at all, but I'm not, like, waking up miserable and being like, "Oh, man, this fucking sucks, and there's no point in trying anything." I just gotta keep on plowing through.
Okay, yeah, I think you bring up a good point, right? So, yes, you are a hopeful, optimistic person, like, making the best of your life, but
Mhm.
the very first point you said was, "I've lost all hope in government."
Yeah.
And that is a very dangerous thing when your people no longer believe in government, and then that is the decay and the potential possibility of, like, democracy coming to an end,
Mhm.
right? If you don't have a body to govern,
Yeah.
you guys are running out of people to govern.
Anarchy. Hunger Games.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Wouldn't that be wild?
it's not that far off.
I
You
know.
know, all of this, like, life imitating art or art imitate I mean, it's all crossing over at this point.
I know. Maybe in 20 years, we'll go back and watch an episode of Black Mirror and be like, "Mhm,
I wouldn't put it past at this point. I mean, it's
agreed."
happened so many times and so
Yeah.
many other things, so
All
that
right.
was
Well,
fun.
that's our depressing news story of the day.
Wasn't that fun? Yay.
Okay, so make sure you share this episode with your bestie and follow us wherever you get your podcasts and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at So Fired Pod. Bye.
Bye.
Disclaimer. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The stories and statements expressed herein are experiences and opinions. They may not represent the views of the production studio or the hosts. If you disagree with our content, that's okay. No podcast is perfect for everyone.